Welcome to the Dirty Side of Leadership podcast with Ron and Kristin, where leadership meets entertainment. This podcast features stories with names and certain aspects that have been changed to keep submissions private. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Dirty Side of Leadership podcast, where leadership meets entertainment. In this episode, we are going to discuss our episode title, which is Being More, Be More in 2024. How many times have you looked back over the year and realized that you didn't meet your goals or your New Year's resolutions? Well, Ron and I have some things to help you flip the script and make this a phenomenal year. But before we get into this, Ron, what can listeners expect from us in 2024? Any big changes?
Well, obviously we're going to succeed because we're going to do an episode about it.
Heck yeah.
Now, we are going to start reviewing a meme, a phrase, a quote, your favorite. If you submit it through one of our groups or DM us, we're going to break that down. Just take a few minutes in the podcast and discuss it. They can be humorous. Please make them appropriate. We're going to have some fun with that. Chris and I might have a favorite meme or quote as well. Also,
goodness.
I wanted to remind our listeners that certainly it's not too late to order the Forward High Performance Planner. If you are listening, you won't see it, but if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, I'm holding up the planner. And Kristin, I have already got to get started writing stuff in it. I know we had been waiting for that. So pretty exciting. It's available on Amazon, the Forward High Performance Planner.
Yes, it's beautiful. And I know that it comes in, you can do paperback or hardback. And I've heard people that really like both. Basically, when choosing, if you want the hardback or the paperback, think about how you like to have your book. If you generally are going to buy the hard, then go with the hard, vice versa, right? So I think that it's wonderful. People have been raving about it. So check it out. Get it now so you can start writing all of your important details in there and utilize all the tools we offer you in it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to jump into our topic, but I thought it would be really special to share New Year's resolution traditions from around the world. So we've all made it through Christmas, Thanksgiving, right? We're moving into New Year's here. And so many people set New Year's resolutions, and we've talked about it before. We're going to talk to you all about how to set them and make sure that you're successful and just different tweaks you can do for it. But around the world, people aren't as different as I thought their traditions. And so United States, we all know here in the United States, what's the number one resolution we see? It's all about, I want to lose weight, I want to exercise more and eat healthier. So I feel like that one's pretty common. The same thing goes for Italy and Russia. But in Russia, their number 2 most popular resolution is to learn something new, which I thought was really cool. Looking at Japan, their New Year's resolutions, they set, and I'm probably going to completely slaughter this. I might need your help, Ron. Is it Nengajo?
Nengajo, yes.
Nengajo, which are New Year's postcards with messages of good wishes and resolutions for the coming year. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. Here's what's quite different. So in Spain, they have a 12 grapes tradition that's very prominent. And so basically what it is people are going to buy seedless grapes and remove any stems in advance. And some actually go as far as peeling the grapes for easier consumption. But you have a family gathering, and family and friends often gather around either the television or a public square, wherever the clock is going to strike midnight. And they're going to consume these grapes together once it strikes midnight, and they're going to eat one grape per chime. And the idea is to finish all 12 grapes by the time the clock strikes 12. And if you do it, it's considered good luck and that you're going to have a successful year. So, and you're supposed to do it in sync with the family and friends. That takes skill, I would say.
Here's my question. Do you smooch your significant other at the end? There's no trading.
How does that work, right? I was literally, I was thinking, man, that's a choking hazard if you're really trying to pop them down every single chime. No wonder they peel them for easier consumption.
I'm just glad you don't have France here. I was afraid you might trade grapes or something. So let's keep going.
Yeah, South Africa. So So in South Africa, this is actually really interesting. So they toss old items out of windows, and it is a symbolic gesture of leaving the past behind and starting anew.
Yeah,
So
don't throw your
that's
spouse out the window, but yeah,
yeah. I
that's
don't here in the States, I think
that's
that'd be
interesting.
yeah. Greece. So New Year's resolution in Greece, basically they cut a cake. Can you pronounce that, Ron? Vasilotopia?
Man, you're on a roll.
Vasilotopia? Yeah, my good.
Well,
Okay. Vas Vasilotopia cake?
Vesela pita cake, I think.
Veslapita. I'm trying to add some letters in there. But basically there's a cake that they eat together, and the person who finds the hidden coin is to believe to have good luck for the coming year. Last one in the Philippines. So the tradition of medianoche.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right. Basically, their big one is it's symbolic of having 12 round fruits. And the round fruits are like grapes and oranges, and they're placed on the table wherever they're at to symbolize prosperity and luck. What do you think about those, Ron?
Well, I think traditions are so interesting, and I believe these things evolve over time, and there's old wives' tales and things like that. But I still think it's very cool. Like you said, people are not that different. Everyone wants to have a prosperous year, a
Right.
happy year. Just the way they approach it is unique. But we talked about family traditions. You can establish some traditions as long as don't try to tell your kids something that's completely wacko. But it's great to have those traditions, and there is a unique feeling, and there always has been. I can remember, growing up, of course, in the country, and you're watching Times Square and seeing the ball fall, and the music and everything. It's a unique feeling. There's something
Right.
very special and exciting about a new year, and I do think you have to capitalize on that. Kristen, I've had so
Yeah.
many people tell me that the period after we're recording right after Christmas, that period is very difficult. You have New Year's to look forward to, but then people really struggle January, February.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about some things that I don't think people have heard before, a few
Right.
things at least in reaching the goals. But a lot of people really struggle between December 26th and then, New Year's Eve and then January 2nd for a couple, 3 months. And especially if you live in certain parts of the United States or the world for that matter, it's cold and snowy and all that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to tie as we go planning into minimizing some of those mental health, those depressive thoughts that you get during this time of year. So I hope all of that will come together.
Yeah. No, I think that's fantastic. It is. It's a big buildup, especially you think about the kids too. It's a big buildup. Everyone's excited. And then Christmas goes by. And I know, Ron, you were already putting your Christmas decorations away. I did a bit of that myself today. And it's like we're kind of ready to move on with life, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So diving in here, I think it's interesting. We talk or we hear a lot of people say, time flew by. Where is this year gone? I was just too busy to do anything of substance. But, I don't want that to happen to me. I don't know. I know you don't want that to happen to you. And we certainly don't want that to be the case for the audience. And so, with everything going on in the world, it is tough to be optimistic about 2024. So let's begin with that. How can we be optimistic next year when this year had a lot of challenges?
No, it sure did. And I know that there's people struggling as we speak, but I know it's easier said than done, but we have to realize that happiness, determination, optimism, these are all mindsets. I have heard people who are happier in difficult situations than some people are in good situations. So a
Mm,
lot of it is our mindset. And you and I talk a lot about brain health.
right.
Krista knows that we're going to be doing a funny take on the brain, the anatomy of the brain. But if you understand some of this is by choice, like I had someone literally tell me they had been depressed all day on Christmas.
Mm,
And we talked, and there were some legitimate reasons, don't get me wrong. But one of the ways to do that is to start looking forward and
yeah.
not allow that negativity to get too strong in your brain. So optimism is also a choice. we have to choose to be optimistic. In other words, if you see a fork in the road and on the left side, you've got danger and fear and what ifs and, if this happens, and then over on the right, you have happiness and optimism and peace and so forth. You make a choice to go right. Yet in our brain, so many times we make a willful choice to go left in that forks in the road. And
Right.
that's the part you have to train the brain. It's just like going to the gym, working on your muscles, your endurance, all those things. You have to train your brain because I'm telling you, and I said it in a previous podcast, there's way more. If you look up a thesaurus, there's a lot more words in the negativity realm than
Oh, yeah.
positive. So it's something that we have to do. So let's delve in, Kristin.
Yeah. And you may, if you're someone that likes to take notes and you like at least even the act of just writing something down to remember it better, by all means, this is where you want to grab that pen and paper.
Yeah.
But so you're going to want to conduct a year-end review of your life. And that probably sounds pretty corporate or just, generally something you don't hear about your personal life, mainly just in the office. But you want to start doing the same thing for your personal life as well. And so we want to look back briefly to actually be able to move forward. So we want to look and see if there were successes, failures, hurt, or other emotional pain, and then analyze the situation and see if you acted in a way that you could have enhanced those situations. So for example, if you overspent your budget on, say, a new car or clothes, that's my struggle there, you want to draw a line in the sand that you will not repeat the same mistakes. Write it down, no big purchases. I will stick within the budget, right? And I know Ron likes to do some sticky notes around the house. It's really not a bad idea. It keeps it right in front of your face.
I thought you were going to make a joke about my sticky notes.
No, hey, I actually think it's a good thing. I was the queen of sticky notes in the office back in the day.
Well, Edmund Burke said, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And I know that sounds like a big worldwide historical term, but it's so true in our lives. So when Kristin says, to do a review, it's not to look back and get depressed, but there are certain patterns that you probably accepted that need to be changed. And that's going to lead us into number 2, review your daily habits. Your habits define you. And if anything that we are saying, if you don't develop a habit, it's probably not going to work. And you're going to be listening to some podcast in 2025 or a TED Talk telling you how to reach your goals. We don't want that to happen again. I don't want it to happen to me. And by the way, Kristin, I have reached some major goals. One of mine, I forgot to tell you, in 2022 was the Start a Leadership podcast, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah. So I reach some goals and I fail, but I certainly have learned the steps that we're going to provide you, and Kristin has as well, that's going to help you.
Yeah.
And at minimum, and hear me out, you want to be a little better than you were last year. You want to be a lot better, but at least be a little better.
Right.
And we do that by developing habits. So you literally have to say, I'm going to build some new habits in 2024. I'm going to do things a little bit differently. For example, let's say you bought a new car in 2023 and it's been difficult making the payment. The insurance is really high. Number one, there might be an opportunity to, trade down, as some people say, but just say, I'm definitely not going to make another major purchase if that's the issue, if that's causing me problems. There are small things that you can do that will change your circumstances. I always say, get a PhD in you. Understand you. If you gained weight, which is politically incorrect to talk about, that's why we do. If you gained weight, you wanted to lose weight, then you look at your habits, you do a review, and you've got to start eating differently. I think we would all agree with that. I had to do something, Kristin. I'll tell you this quickly and we'll move on. Believe it or not, I talk about health, try to eat well, but I struggle hydrating. And a lot of people fill up these big jugs, and I'm just not going to carry a barrel around with me. I need a backpack with a keg, right? I just can't do it. So my daughter does it, and I love her for it. She walks around with her big whatever. So
yeah.
I would do that if I was getting in a fight, maybe to use it. But
the
so
Stanley mug, they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we keep buying them.
next year, let's you and I get one on Amazon that straps on. But
oh my gosh!
So what I had to do is I set an empty glass beside of my refrigerator. It's plastic glass. It's right here. It is. It's just like that. Just a small glass. And when I go to the refrigerator or when I'm doing something, I chug. I don't really chug because I found out when you chug, it just goes out. But I drink one glass, then I go on about my business. When I go to a restaurant, I remind myself I'm going to drink one glass of water with this meal. I'm going to make sure I do the whole glass. Usually I get a little of a refill, but I can eat and barely sip and still only have drunk that much. So that's about getting a PhD in me. I know that I can't carry the keg around. And so I had to come up with an alternative plan. And you may have to do that as well if you're listening. Yeah. You. So make the modification that you need so you can get those daily habits in check and in place.
Yep. My husband refuses to carry those water bottles around too. So you're not alone. He's like, people, you didn't even do this 20 years ago. Like how is everyone? I could go on. All right. So you might not hear this often, but we are proponents of making New Year's resolutions. And that's right. Ron and I, we both believe you should. The key is to have a couple long-term goals and some short-term goals. And here's the problem with goal reaching. Some people wait until midnight to do the resolution when you could do that now and start reaching your goals before the clock falls in Times Square, right? So like what we're saying is don't wait until the 1st or the 31st. Get your behaviors started right now and start heading in that direction as soon as possible. It's human nature when we do something spur of the moment that it doesn't last.
That's right. It doesn't stick.
Right. So start building positive habits now.
Kristin, I did a post. I don't know if you saw it, but I took a run on Christmas morning and it didn't affect anything that I was doing because it was early, but I did my run. And there's something about doing a workout on a Friday night when everyone else is partying, or running on Christmas morning, because I felt an extra sense of pride. I also reflected on what the day really means to me, and I was outside. It was just beautiful, but I felt better the rest of the day because I went for that run. But the key is, I know I want to. I'm changing my fitness routine for 2024, so I want to get an early start. I have jiu-jitsu tomorrow. So if you will get an early start, you feel ahead of the game instead of, you forget to do it on January 2nd, then on January 3rd, you do something and you're like, I'm already behind. That's how our brain thinks. So those forks in the road again.
It is. And you know what's funny is my husband wanted to go work out Christmas morning. And I've shared, I used to give him flack because he's a big gym guy. So I used to be like, really? You could spend time with the family, yada, yada. Now I just don't say anything. I've learned. But he's like, I'm going to go 6 a.m. Christmas morning. I'm like, right on, like, do what you got to do. Well, so he gets up and then I didn't realize I go downstairs a few hours later and he's like, well, I couldn't find the car keys. They were actually the jacket I'm wearing right now. They were in the pocket because I had driven it last, and it was blocking in the other vehicle. So, anyways, instead of waking me up, he let me sleep, and he didn't get to go to the gym, but he had every intention. All right.
So there are obstacles when we can't reach our goals, and we have to keep going. I mean, Kristin being one, but
or having my keys in my coat pocket. I did.
Don't let those Kristins
I held
out
him
there.
back. I held him back from achieving his goal.
No, you can. Seriously, I think this is the problem. And I'm glad you brought that up because it starts this negative trend.
Yeah.
Dave could have been mad all day and then, well, I'm not working out tomorrow or whatever, not that he would do that, but I'm saying negativity will spread.
Yes.
All you have to do is just pick yourself back up, go back. And if you have to make a note in your planner, just mark that one out. Say, didn't do so well, starting again tomorrow.
Right,
That's
exactly.
all you got to do.
Yep, I like it.
And remind Kristin to not carry the keys.
I can be a little careless sometimes when it comes to organization. I'll just share right now. For me, I'm not doing a weight goal. I'm not working out goal, even though I do plan on working on those things. For me, it's going to be decluttering the house and the garage.
Yeah.
And putting keys away once I get home.
Kristin, you and I have shared, we have similar personalities on, we're the type that sees the vision, but the mission is left up to other people.
Yeah.
And
delegating.
I really thought about this podcast in an episode because I decided to take my grandson out, but I took my daughter's vehicle. I don't have a car seat in my car. So I took him in her vehicle. So I happened to wear my glasses that day, which is rare. So I've got sunglasses, prescription glasses. I took both pair in her vehicle. So I did remember, I was proud of myself. I did remember to move the glasses back over to my car. But somewhere in that process, I cannot find my glasses.
Oh, no.
Now, part of it really prompted me to start putting up Christmas stuff because I want to find them. Now, I've already ordered some new glasses that I didn't even know I was going to lose these. So that was great. They'll be in a week. It's foreshadowing. But it reminded me of the podcast when you and I talked about systems. When you left your purse, remember that at the airport?
Yeah.
Or if you've forgotten about that.
I forgot it. Yeah.
I'll never forget it.
I forgot about bringing it to the airport. I left it at home.
I'm going to keep bringing that up.
It was a big deal.
But I did. I changed my system. I've got a system with my glasses in the car, and I know that about myself.
Yeah.
I have to stick with those systems, and it applies to everything we're talking about here, from habits to your mindset. You've got to, if you get off of your system, you move back on. Now, in my case, looks like I'm going to, I saw a pair of glasses laying here. I was going to announce to everyone, but I think those are old reading glasses. But anyway.
Yeah.
This one,
all right.
Which one are we on here? This
accountability.
This one is big. And Kristin, I've said before that I want us to do an episode on mentors, and I want to talk about the history of mentorship and all that stuff. But this is so important. Get an accountability partner. Don't wait until midnight again. Do it now. Get an accountability partner and work together. Kristin, I used to. Now, I haven't done it lately. My daughters are older, but I took them. I had this big walk-in closet when I lived in Charleston, West Virginia. I would take each one of them in there, and we would set their goals for the next year.
Ah, that's cool.
It was cool, and they loved it. If you allow children to invoke that creative side and give them that sense of responsibility that they're forging their future, I couldn't believe how much my daughters love that. And we wrote those goals down, and it's very important. But an accountability partner is a very powerful force. You got to have some ground rules. You got to have people who will hold you accountable. There's a difference in a buddy, a pal, a friend, a girlfriend than a accountability partner, but you agree to hold each other accountable, and it goes a long ways. And this is really not an ad, but it is something that I believe in, is hire a coach. And Kristin and I are available, and we would love to help you, exit 2024 as a powerhouse versus what happened in 2023. But it wasn't that long ago that I hired a coach, Jared Bull, shout out to Jared. And it was very impactful because I was coming out of the government, moving into the marketing side, but also some inner work, and the beauty at Chris and I want to delve into. A lot of people just coach you on career, but we want to, we can talk about diet, your spiritual life, whatever the need is. We want to help you get to where you want to be so that you feel more satisfaction. One of the first things we always say is forgive yourself and give yourself some grace, even when you don't reach your goals. But you absolutely need that accountability partner. And if you really are serious about it, hire a coach. It doesn't have to be us. It's me or her. We usually don't coach together, but hire a coach. And that tells you how much I mean that and want you to succeed, that it doesn't have to be one of us, but hire a coach.
Right. Exactly. No, it's the sentiment. It's powerful. I have to say, it was funny when you were talking about forgiveness. I think a lot of people think about forgiveness of others, not self-forgiveness. And I really like that you hit on it. It also reminded me of something, my ex-boyfriend, which I always remain pretty cordial with ex-boyfriends, whatever, but he's on LinkedIn and he follows me. I follow him. And a couple of years ago, someone that I worked with was posting like a really thoughtful New Year's, Eve type of deal. Like, what are you going to do more of? Or what do you think the world needs more of this next year? And I said, forgiveness. My ex-boyfriend saw that I had, LinkedIn works. It says, oh, so-and-so commented on this, and it shows it to you. He writes, they need more burritos. And I was like, there we go. That's why we broke up, because you're a fool. The world needs more burritos, or to eat more burritos. I'm like, you're such an ass. My gosh.
Yeah, you just couldn't grow up for a moment.
I know. I'm like, confirmation that, we're friendly, yada, yada, but confirmation why things don't work
My
out.
ex-girlfriends follow me, but it's not on social media. I just wanted to say something really stupid there.
That's funny. Yeah, it worked. All right. I'll be quick with this one, but I've never done this before. It's a vision board. I know we see it in probably like high school, teen movies and all of that, but a vision board for me, I just told everyone, and you, Ron, what I want to do for 2024 is declutter. So I could find like a picture of an organized or an orderly looking living room, or, something, whatever, and put it on this vision board, and it goes on. I think it's important to, don't stick a Ferrari on there unless that actually is something that you really, really need and think you can actually afford without putting yourself in a bad financial position. But things that make sense. There's something with that visibility, kind of like I was talking about the Post-it earlier. When you have that vision board, it does remind you every time you walk past it. The experts say to place it somewhere that you will see it regularly.
Kristin, I'm tempted to adjust the camera. I'm looking at my vision board. Now I'm in a different situation, folks. I know if you got kids and things, but I have a set room for my podcast, and I am putting some nice French doors so it won't be an eyesore when you walk in. But I keep and mine's a dry erase board. I don't put pictures. I put thoughts. And this is embarrassing, but hey, people have listened this far. Why not? Maybe they're driving, need some entertainment. As Kristin knows, and we've talked about body language, but I'm putting together signals because signaling is underrated. As a matter of fact, no one's covering it. And man, now that I've been looking for signals, I even told my neighbor, we were watching a movie, and I said, look at that signal. What did they just say? And she told me what they just said. We both agreed. But someone, I was watching a show, and it said they gave me the hairy eyeball.
Oh.
So have you heard that expression?
No, I have not.
Okay. That's like a look of anger, the hairy eyeball.
Okay.
So for some reason, I wrote that on my vision board. And my daughters were here the other night, and they looked at that, and it had hairy eyeball. And Haley looks at me like, Dad, what is wrong with you?
That's on your vision board?
Yeah, it's on there right now.
Okay.
Hairy. It says hairy eye.
The hairy.
And the other one, Kristin, I don't want to unveil where we're heading, but there is one that says brain.
Oh, got it.
You know what it is, the one I sent you.
Yeah.
But yes, it does remind me. And when I was writing a book, I had certain steps and goals I wanted to reach. And writing a book is a very good example of long and short-term goals. And so I put stuff on the dry erase board routinely. And sometimes it changes, by the way. I would erase something or put you a big, beautiful star when you complete something. We'll talk about that. But go ahead.
I like it. The hairy eyeball, that ex-boyfriend that I was talking about, his mom actually had a Shih Tzu that had an eyeball that had hair growing out of it. I'm not even kidding. And that is the first thing I thought of, because I used to go, I love your little hairy eyeball, when I would see that dog. Literally, she was the sweetest woman. No one else wanted the dog. Understandably, it was a little freaky to look at, but anyhow, yes. Or, Ron's hairy eyeball. Moving on. Okay. Are we on number 7 here, Ron?
No, number 6.
Oh, number 6. Take it back, sir.
Yes. Write your vision and mission statement. Some people tell you to write a mission statement, but a vision statement is your full year goal. It could be like, I plan to be happier, healthier, and wealthier in 2024. That gives you the high standard, and you want your vision to be lofty. And I'm talking about a personal vision and mission statement. And Kristin, I wrote a whole section in my book For those of you that are already purchased A Dirty Side of Leadership, please read that. And if you have not, please do. It's worth it. It puts it very specifically and shows you how to put a vision, your values, your mission together. And the mission statement is the steps to take to get to the vision. So if you're going to be healthier, happier, and more prosperous in 2024, then you write those steps. It helps keep you aligned. And you would be surprised how many great ideas are lying dormant in your head. But when you access, like when my daughters and I went in the big walk-in closet and we said and did their vision statement.
Yeah.
And by the way, the reason the walk-in closet is I wanted them, I had a guitar and stuff in there. It was a big closet, but I'm saying I wanted them to know this is a meeting. We're actually taking time. I didn't want to go in their room or anything that we're going to get interrupted. So when you get sisters, they tend to interrupt each other. So I wanted them to know we're taking this very seriously. So your vision is the big goal. Your mission is how you're going to get there. Work in your accountability partner and let them help you develop this. If you all work as a team, you get skin in the game. And that's so important. And then the first thing that we do as coaching is we set goals, because if you don't know someone, you have to find out where they are and where they want to go.
Right. Absolutely.
Vision and mission statement, a personal one.
Yeah, I'm glad you explained the closet, because I was thinking the same thing, that you were wanting to shut out distraction and almost have it function like a conference room.
Yep.
And I think that's pretty cool, actually. All right. So you want to leave space for leisure. Make a bucket list of things you want to do, vacations you want to take, or people you want to visit. That could be family across the country you've been meaning to visit. And I say do it and write it down, add it to this list. And there has to be a space where you unwind and enjoy yourself. You absolutely have to make that happen. All right, Ron, on that topic, why is that so important?
Kristin, I put that on there because that's my struggle. And by the way, Kristin and I have talked about how much we learn. We take this seriously. I'm not just calling stuff out. I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to stick with this leisure part, because I find myself, I've got a pool, if you just very close, and I can walk over the pool. I catch myself wanting to work. I'm reading something, or I get an idea. I'm in the sun trying to put the idea in my phone, and I'm like, that's not leisure.
Yeah.
So I really did, Kristin, from about December 22nd. I told you, whenever we did the last podcast, it was 2 days before that. I guess it's been 2 weeks, but I didn't shave like I usually do. I just have been chilling out. I've been relaxing, watching movies. Now, Christmas and things like that got hectic because you're doing all the gifts and all that stuff, but I still stayed calm. I was breathing. I did a little bit at a time. I did it differently than I've ever done it in the past. I ordered my gifts ahead of time. Jeff Bezos is basically Santa for me. Thank you, Jeff, if you're listening. I ordered all those Amazon gifts. So if you want to sponsor us, let us know. I covered a lot, didn't I? I covered a lot in that statement.
Oh gosh, I'll have some of my people won't love that, but that's okay, Ron. That's okay. We'll let that go.
I know, believe me, I know, but it was that or nervous breakdown. So I went with.
I know. You do have to pick your battles for sure.
Two evils.
I totally get that. All right, so Ron, you're going to take us home. I know that. Oh gosh, I love that, the space for leisure, and I love that you're putting that as a focal point for yourself.
Yeah, and you did say a bucket list. I did want to say this, that, and I'm saying this on the podcast, but I will be in London, England this year. You can mark that. You can take that to the bank unless something crazy happens.
Yeah.
Worldwide. I will
exciting.
Be going to London, France. Yes, it's absolutely top priority for me this coming year. I've got various reasons. I'm a World War II buff, love the Beatles. So there's so many reasons for me to go to England and London and surrounding area, but also possibly France and Germany. But I've got a buddy of mine's agreed to go, so we're gonna make a plan. But it is great to make vacation plans, like you said. Now, this is another one that's in my book, and it's something I figured out when I worked for the government. we don't celebrate victories. And you have to celebrate victories, and it's okay. People call it a cheat day, which is fine if it sounds that way. If you've worked out good all week, treat yourself to a good dessert or something. Celebrate. I've got a friend, Andre Young. I've been on his podcast, and he does similar to what I do. He travels probably more than me, and I always see a picture of him sitting back with a cigar. And he's celebrating the fact that he had a successful presentation somewhere in the country. And I really like that. I mean, it's not something he just did to make a post. Every time he gets back, there's a post of him smoking a cigar. And we're not advocating smoking here, but the point is he knows how to celebrate his victories. He knows how to unwind. A lot of people have different things. Some people play golf. Some people watch TV. Some people fish. I don't know. Some people go shopping. I'm just saying that we have to know ourselves. And how do we celebrate victories? Do you have anything to add to that, Kristin?
Oh gosh. Well, I think it is okay. I think being humble is amazing, right? But it is important that we pat ourselves on the back, right? You need to have that. So when you don't do what Ron's saying and you don't take a second to recognize your achievements, then you just keep grinding. And it's very difficult to stay focused and then to actually realize that you've had so many achievements along the way.
Yeah. With the government, I mentioned, it's just, we did try to, we would say, thank you, good job, those kind of things, or maybe even have a luncheon. But I think it goes deeper than that, but it also has to be personalized. That's why I said earlier, Kristin, put a big star in your planner. Put something in there, if it's stickers or whatever, to let yourself know, I did that. I accomplished that. Because a lot of times when you accomplish one thing, you know you can accomplish another.
Right.
And I love that.
That's excellent.
All right, Kristin, final thoughts.
Gosh, my main thing that I want to say is, when you're planning your year, you want to really understand where you're at and have a measuring plate. And that just means some way to be able to do what we just said and look back and say, I had success in this area, right? It's so easy to do it in the business world because we have all the analytics and the graphs, et cetera. But put together a measuring plate so that you can see where you started and where you're landing at the end.
Absolutely. And the bottom line is, we do not want you to be in the same place at the end of 2023 as you are in 2024. That's the goal here, is for you to look back and go, even if it's looking for your stars on your planner, like, wow, I accomplished a lot. I got a lot of this done. No one's perfect.
Right.
Give yourself grace, but look back and know you accomplished some things. Be sure to send Kristin and I your favorite meme quote saying, we want to delve into that just quickly in the podcast. And also, Kristin, as you know, in next year, we are going to buy some ads. We're going to get out there in the stratosphere of podcasts. And, we need your help. Any person that you can get to download, to rate us, it all helps.
Yes.
And so we're really gonna kick this thing off. We considered, this has been a training ground, a fun training ground, better than I even expected. I don't know about you, Kristin, but it's time to go the next level, and we're excited to take that journey.
Absolutely. And thank you for being with us from, really the breaking of the ground, right? So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Big things to come in 2024. Have an amazing New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Be safe, be intentional, and pat yourself on the back when you achieve.
That's right. Happy New Year. Be the leader you're meant to be.
We'll see you next week, next year.
Oh.
The Dirty Side of Leadership podcast is brought to you by Forward Operations. If you'd like to book Ron or Kristin for speaking events, training, or executive coaching, visit forwardoperations.com. Be the leader you're meant to be.